So I been thinking about making this video, and I haven't done these videos in a while. We're talking about a coffee vlog. I felt on this video we should talk about something that a lot of people don't like to admit to this, don't like to talk about it because it strips down their ego, right? And ego, it's something that we all have and we all use it where we need it. But at the same time, you gotta balance that ego, because the ego can do two things for you. It can help you if you use it properly, or it can destroy you if you are careless. So let's talk about this. So what am I referring to? I'm referring to something that we all have that's inside of us, right? To be successful, to be accepted, to matter, to be, happy. You want to be accepted, you want to be respected, right? Everybody's looking for that ingredients of love, respect, and success. You want to have these accolades so you can, feel good about yourself, so you can move forward with life. But unfortunately, that's not how life works. You learn as you get older. That's not how life is. Life is much more complex than that. And it should be complex because it's 8.4 billion people on this planet. There's a lot of complexity. You got complex ideas of 8.4 billion people. Everyone has different preferences, different approaches, different beliefs, different agendas, etc., etc. So you have to understand, when you're living in this big world that we're living in, it might seem like a small planet from afar in the universe, but to us, it's a big planet. It's a large population of people, 8.4 billion people, maybe even more. Now, so what does that mean? That means that you can expect everyone or everything to agree with you. You can expect everyone or other people to understand your ideas. You have to go in this life understanding that there are certain basic rules that you have to walk by. And those simple basic rules are: number one, be humble. Number two, don't take it to the heart if someone is criticizing you. You can use that as a feedback, if you will. Okay, I'm being criticized. Well, that's interesting. I'm gonna look into that. I might learn something from that. And number three is your emotions control. And this is the tricky one. Your emotions control, it's where people get into trouble. This is where you make stupid decisions because you're acting out of your emotions. And your emotions will never give you the correct choice, the reasonable choice. Your emotions will give you like a loose cannon option. And when you're in a heat of moment, when you're in an argument, when you're in an altercation, when you're confronting someone, you are loose cannon. You're not thinking straight. What comes out of your mouth, you're not thinking about it, because you're a loose cannon. You're just saying whatever comes out. You don't care whether or not your words have any meaning, or if they're going to hurt someone emotionally with those words that you're saying. So you are just unhinged, individual acting out of your emotions. And this is something that I've been through myself, and that's why I'm making this video. And it's been tough for me because I'm a very emotional person. I don't take criticism very easy. If someone's making fun of me, I don't take that easy as well. And I take everything personal. And this is the battle that I've been battling, man, for a long time. And, you lose a lot of friends. You make a lot of people nervous around you because of the way you are or the way I was. It doesn't mean that I'm some kind of unhinged asshole walking around. It just means that I'm wired differently. And I get very triggered easily when someone approaches me, especially someone I don't know, start asking me some stupid questions or start saying something or making fun of me. I don't take that very, very, very lightly. And I know a majority of you would say, well, yeah, you should never tolerate if someone is harassing you. I'm not talking about that. Sure, if someone is harassing you, yeah, you should let them have it. You should let them have it. You should put them in their place and remind them to F off. Okay? I'm not talking about that. Don't get me wrong. If someone is insulting you, if someone is purposely harassing you, you should let them have it. You should teach them a lesson. 100%. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what Jocko Willink is talking about. The book Extreme Ownership. Recently I was reading it, and the stuff that he talks about in that book, it's not about being perfect. That's maybe what I was interpreting it in the first. I was like, well, what is he asking me to be some perfect, super Navy SEAL? Like, well, what is he asking for me to be? Wake up 4:30 in the morning, start working on doing all of these things. No. When you finish the book, you realize something very important. That you can use his military background experience and implement it here in your real life. Your civilian life. And I realized at the end of the reading the book, I realized that, my goodness, what Jocko is teaching me is not to be some super soldier, super Navy SEAL, ultimate whatever, superhero. What he's teaching me is to take the ownership of the things that I do. Not to blame others. Not to point fingers at others and say, well, it's his fault. It's her fault. It's their fault, etc., etc. That's not what he's teaching. What he's basically teaching is you don't do that. Cowards do that. You don't point fingers at anyone. I know it's a Rocky quote, but still, it's true. And the message is very clear. Stop blaming others for decisions that you made. Take the ownership of the decisions that you made. Rewind the film, watch the film of your past, and see everything that you did. Who is to blame? The mirror. Again, you have to look in the mirror. You have to look at yourself in the mirror. I know it's hard. I know it's tough because it's going to shrink down your ego, but it's necessary for individuals to look themselves in the mirror and say, well, wait a minute. Hold on just a second here. I know I've been pointing fingers, blaming all these individuals, but maybe there's something else. Maybe there's something within me that needs to be changed. And that's what Extreme Ownership, his book, it's teaching you. To look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, this is my screw up. This is my mistakes. This is my responsibility, and I will take the full responsibility for learning from them, learning from my mistakes, and therefore I will make myself a better man. And I can use the same knowledge that I just learned from my previous mistakes to help those who are struggling. Because growing up in this society, I feel sorry, especially for teenagers and adults in their 20s. because they're really being brought up in this very toxic environment of social media, right? Just look at the social media. Just look at like how toxic our social media is, and Instagram, Facebook, etc., etc. It's super toxic, and it's really bad. A lot of bad influences, right? So I can see how easily you can get manipulated and sucked into this, world of negativity and these different agendas, and get brainwashed super easy, right? It's almost like a cult following. You can easily get sucked into the agenda. So for me personally, I feel sorry for this generation and what they're going through, because social media, it's really not going to help you much, especially when you're young. You young, what do you know about life, man? You just started smelling which side of the pen smells the worst. What do you know about life? I'm 46, so I have learned about life a little bit better than, let's say, someone who's in their 20s, right? Or someone who's a teenager, right? Just learning about life. I have learned a lot of things. I've been through a lot. The war in Bosnia, living in Europe, coming here in America. I've been all over the world. I've been around. I learned a lot. And that's the whole point of this video that I'm making. And hopefully this video and my experience can help you avoid some of the mistakes that I made in my life. Okay? Life is hard. There's no question about it. It's hard. But who makes it harder? Who makes it harder? The life or you? This is something I've been struggling with. I've been asking this question. Okay, life is hard. But who makes it harder? Life or you? And I know you're probably thinking, well, what in God's name is he talking about? Well, I will explain. What I mean by that is, we all understand life. Life has a certain set of rules. Certain set of rules that you have to follow, right? Respect, obey the rules, have principles, be a good person. You have to follow these rules. Don't be careless, don't be reckless, right? Treat others like you want to treat your daughter, your son. Okay? You have to follow these rules. That's what keeps the world together. That's what keeps this civilization together, is these set of rules that we have put into place. Okay? But some people, they have this idea in their heads, in their mind, that the rules of life don't apply to them. And therefore, they're going to do what they want to do, and they will be reckless. You have that choice, but that choice has consequences. That choice will create consequences for you. The consequences that will change your life forever. So you have to think about this. Even Michael Franzese. You guys know who Michael Franzese is. His father was a mobster. He was brought into that mobster life, and he spent some time in federal prison. He came out. He talked about his experience in mafia and how it destroyed his life and his friends' lives, and his, it's been a traumatic experience for him. And now he's a newborn Christian, and he talks about, just trying to help others. He's trying to help others, to especially younger people, to let them know, hey, I know what you're going through. When I was your age, I get it, but it ain't worth it. So it's all about learning from your experience. So what am I trying to say when I say life is hard, but who made it harder? You or life? Think about that. Life is hard, but who made it harder? You or life? And let's be honest, when we get down to the bottom of it, when we strip down everything, when we peel off the onions, when you get to the root of that seed, which is you, me, okay? That's where the problem is. It's your decisions, your decision making, acting out of emotions, raising your voice when you know you shouldn't be raising it, getting offensive when you don't have to be, not walking away from something when you should walk away from something, making stupid decisions, getting yourself into debt, buying a bunch of credit cards and then overspending all that money. And then you have to file for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, right? Making all these stupid decisions. Losing your mortgage, losing your house, losing your car because you couldn't make the car payments, making your credit history terrible. Getting involved with some relationships when you know who that individual is, you know how she is, and you still decided to go with that individual and you know how she is. Hanging out with the people you shouldn't be hanging out with. Again, dating these fast women whom you know you shouldn't be dating. They're just after money. They don't care about you. All of these decisions that you made backfires at you. So what made it harder? Did life make it harder, or did you make it harder? Again, ask yourself this question. What made it harder? Did life make it harder, or did you make it harder? We all know the answer. Now, whether or not you want to take the full ownership, extreme ownership of that, and then come out of your shell and admit to that, that's a whole different high horse subject of an ego. Can you strip down that ego? Can you come down from that high horse to acknowledge how badly you have behaved and how badly you have conducted yourself in the course of your life and all the mistakes that you made? So the lesson here, and I want you guys to go into 2025, I want you to go into New Year by learning this one valuable lesson. Yes, my channel, it's about video games. It's about, resolutions and video games and live streams and, fun stuff. I like to have fun. But at some point, I feel like this video needs to be made. I feel that this video will have a life of its own. People might see it 6 months from now, 12 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, God knows when, right? These videos have a life of its own. And I feel that when you do see this video, you might realize something about yourself that you normally wouldn't have anyone else tell you this. Your friends will not tell you this because they don't want to lose you as a friend. They don't want to cut the friendship. Your colleagues will not tell you this. People will not tell you this because they don't want to upset you. So I think it's better if you hear it from some guy you don't know, like me, on this channel, to say this to you, so that way you can reconcile with yourself and find out, hey, it's the enemy within. It's the enemy within. It is you. The enemy, it's within. Okay? And you have to control this. You have to discipline yourself. That's the whole point of waking up 4:30 in the morning, lifting weights and doing all these things. It's to discipline yourself, fixing your bed, cleaning your house, making dinner, making lunch, grocery shopping, laundry, or dishwashing, right? Fixing your car, maintaining your car. This is all responsibilities, disciplines. Your budget, your money. Are you smart with your money? Are you smart with your budget? Or are you just loosely just spending money, buying different credit cards and overspending everything, and now you're in the debt, and now you have to file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, right? So these are the things you got to ask yourself. who is to blame for this? It's easy to say, oh, they screwed me over, he screwed me over. It's always easy to find a scapegoat, to find an excuse. That's easy. It's always easy to say, oh, life is hard, life is hard, shit happens. Life is hard, shit happens. That's just a very cheap card scapegoat to use just to mask the real problem. I don't want to mask the problem. I don't want you to mask the problem. You're not helping yourself by masking the problem. I want you to take the mask off, and I want you to go deeply in here and say, no, it was me. I screwed it up. These are my responsibilities. I am responsible. This is my screw up, and I will take the responsibility for it. And I want you to go into 2025 by having that mindset. It's helping me, and I'm changing my life, and I'm going into 2025 very fresh, and I think this too can help you as well. All right? Instead of just saying, life is hard, life is hard. No. We make it harder by making stupid decisions, by not being disciplined. It's easy to point fingers. That's easy to do. You have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, whoa, hold on a sec. Exactly. So, that's the whole point of this video. I hope that it helps you guys in some way, shape or form. Like I said, all I can do is give you some advice and what I have learned, and hopefully this video will be a good wisdom for you guys. I'm not sitting here as some guy who is successful or whatever. I'm sitting as someone who actually been through these things. I'm speaking from experience. I'm not speaking from, I read something on the internet or blah, blah, blah. I've been through these things. I've been through these screw-ups. I've been through these mistakes. I'm speaking from experience. Therefore, I think I'm qualified to tell you what to do and how to avoid it. Because what's the ideal of life? Ideal of life is to be happy. If you wake up every morning and you're not happy, well, you're not living a life. You're suffering. You're living in some sort of suffering mind prison, where your mind is constantly telling you how, no good you are and this and that. But also your mind is letting you know to be honest and to admit to your mistakes, to change yourself. Sometimes these voices in our heads are there for a reason, because they're trying to bring our attention so we can face our mistakes and our screw-ups, so we can be better, so we can move in this life in a more balanced, straight road, not going around different shortcuts and making stupid mistakes. So I hope this video into New Year 2025, hopefully this video will be a good reminder to take the ownership. I would highly recommend to read Extreme Ownership. I've been listening to the Extreme Ownership on the Audible on my phone. I usually, when I go to workout, go to gym, I put on my earbuds and I listen. I love listening to Jocko, and when he talks in his book, him and the other guy, Leif Babin, and Jocko Willink. I listen to their to their book on Audible. Audible is the best. So anyway, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I hope this video helps some of you who are struggling, fighting your demons. Hopefully this will help you a little bit. Other than that, thank you for watching. God bless you all. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.